Everything is going perfect. She's laughing, she's getting a bit closer, she's touching your arm, and then boom, you hear it. I don't go home with guys on the first night. And what do? Most guys fumble. You have a set of guys that either become incredibly desperate at this point, they try to convince the girl, they tell like just 2 seconds, and it just reeks of desperation. And then you have the other set of guys who just give up. Immediately they apologize, they backstep. Oh no, I didn't mean it like that. No, I'm so sorry. It's like all of a sudden they're taking on another dinner date next week, and then they're on the 6th dinner date, and they're wondering like why the fuck nothing is moving forward. And it's because at this point, she just sees you as a pussy, some guy she just go to dinner with. To make this happen, you need the Disarm Script. This is the exact psychological pivot that switches the frame from I'm trying to convince her to we're on the same page and we're just laughing at all those other desperate guys. It literally takes her no and flips that into a maybe within seconds, and then eventually yes. And it doesn't matter if she's prudish, religious, from Eastern Europe. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. I dealt with this for the longest time, and I did the exact same thing. I started off as being way too nice and soft, and then I got into too pushy, and any type of conversation I tried having around this, it just created reactance within the girl. That psychological response where you try to convince someone, it just pulls up all the defenses, and she will just double down on, I'm not going home with you right now. And this was the case until one night I was out with a group of girls, and one of the girls, like Kylie, she met a guy and it was going really well. She was hanging with him all night. And then she came back to us, and we're all kind of thinking like, look good. Like, why are you here? Why are you with this guy? Like, what the fuck's going on? And she told us, she's like, look, it's great. It's awesome. But he wants to take me home. He's leaving now. And, you know, I don't want to go home with him on the first night. And one of the girls was like, look, you should like, just go, like, have fun. Like we're not judging, like go do your thing. And she's like, no, I really shouldn't. And I mean, personally, I had no investment into this whatsoever. I didn't give a fuck whether she went home with this guy or not. But I was curious. I was like, look, seems going well. Seems like you really like this guy. My friend wasn't like prudish. Her friends aren't judging her. And I kind of just asked, I was like, what made you say no? Like, why do you actually not want to go home with him? And that's where she explained it to me. She's like, look, I'm worried. She's like, I've done this before. And either the guy A is really needy and desperate, and like the minute you like have sex with him the next day, he's like blowing up your phone. He wants to see you again right away. And she's like, I don't want to like overly commit to something like so early. And then number 2, you just have a lot of guys that don't give a fuck on the first night. They're just really lazy in bed, or they're bad, or they're just super awkward. And she felt like I just don't have enough time to assess whether I'm actually going to have like chemistry with this guy in bed. And then the third part was, what if he just ghosts me? What if like sex was all he wanted? He just have sex, and then he's like immature, and you know, he doesn't actually know how to deal with a girl after that. He becomes a little bit avoidant, or he's just very shameful. Like, I don't want to be with the types of girls that are going to sleep with me on the first night. Which is hypocritical, but that can happen. So she kind of explained these 3 dynamics to me and these 3 types of guys. And to me, it made sense. Like at that point, I'd been with girls before. I'd had a bunch of female friends, and they've kind of explained these different situations before, and maybe some of these fears. So it made sense. But then my next kind of logical follow-up question was, okay, so which one do you think this guy is? Like, you think this guy is going to be either too needy or judge you or not be good in bed? And there was a little bit of silence. See, like, look up and think for a second. And then she kind of just smiled and was like, yeah, you're right. She walked off, and I swear to God, it looked like she fucking just kidnapped this guy. She went home with him. They ended up having sex. They had a great time. And that's where it all clicked for me. So that's when I took this experience and I created the Disarm Script. I realized instead of pushing, pleading, or apologizing, I just accepted. I'd agree with her. She's right. So a girl will tell me, listen, I'm not going home with you. I don't go home with guys on the first night. Yeah, I just agree. I'd say, yeah, you're right. You shouldn't. Like, most guys are trash. I agree with you. And there's this like moment of what I would describe as like surprise or confusion. The girl's like, hang on, what? I was expecting you to either apologize, like pull back or push, and she'll sit back, smile, and like you see the defenses kind of just dissipate. And then I'll point out the reasons why. I'm like, Yeah, honestly, most guys, like, look, if I'm in the club or in a date, I'll actually point out some guys. I'll be like, look, that guy is going to get so desperate. He's going to message you how much he loves you. He's going to blow up your phone nonstop. You're going to be like, what the fuck did I just create? This guy over here, let's admit it, he's going to be like really shitty in bed. He's going to be fumbling around, apologizing, asking permission. Probably doesn't even have the confidence to go down on you, let alone make you come. And then the guy over here, look how immature he is. He'd probably sleep with you once and then like fucking not even message you again or some shit. I'm like, yeah, it's a good decision. You probably shouldn't sleep with these guys, right? And at this point, she's going to agree with you. And it's not just because I'm telling you this from all my own personal experience, but I was even curious. I'm like, I wonder if there's any studies on this, right? And there is. There was a US college sample. This was over 12,000 events. And they found that the women came in less than 10% of them. Also reported 35% regretted or were disappointed by it. 11% felt confused, and only 27% felt good or happy. So whenever you hear like a girl doesn't want to go home with you, don't take it as some personal rejection where you react to that. It's just a case of she's experienced this before, a friend's experience, or she's worried about experiencing it, of, you know, guys being a little bit too needy, guys not messaging you back, or just being like really fucking bad in bed. So see what we just did there? Instead of fighting and, you know, causing this argument with a concern, we just validate, accept it, and she agrees with us. But now, instead of just agreeing that, yeah, I should never go home with guys on the first night, we get her to agree that these are the 3 reasons why you shouldn't. And I would tell her, like, look, you should only go home with a guy that isn't needy, that is going to be good in bed, and is willing to see you again, right? Or isn't going to judge you, you could say. And so now the shift happens, just like it did with Kylie, to, is this guy in front of me one of those 3 types of guys? Now, logically, your next question should be, how do I act or show not those types of guys? So firstly, the easiest thing is just actually doing what we just did. Because if you're able to identify and understand the reasons why, you're already signaling you're different. And just be like, if you met a girl, you know, maybe she's from Eastern Europe and she says, you know what the problem with fucking women these days are? You know what the problem with American women is? They're not real women. They're not feminine. They don't look after their man. They don't even know how to cook for them, right? I'm going to assume that if I date this girl, she's going to be cooking for me. The same way, maybe you meet a girl from Sweden and she says, do you know what the problem with women these days? Okay, they don't know how to suck dick passionately. That's their problem. Well, obviously, if you take this girl home, you can probably expect some pretty decent head, all right? So if you're saying the problem with guys is that they, you know, judge women or become a little bit too needy, immediately you're already signaling these things. Now, that's great. That's awesome. But I don't want to just rely on that. I want to actively, through the interaction, keep showing her these 3 things. So let's start with being non-needy. So as you go through this interaction, I want you to have this calm, like masculine presence about you. So the way you can achieve that is speak slowly, speak clear, lead through the interaction. But when it comes to the pool, you can't be desperate or needy for this outcome. You can't be desperate or needy for sex. Girls will notice that a mile away. And the way you get about this, like, this is an extreme example, okay? But I've had a girl that I met like 30 minutes earlier. She was out front of my building. I invited her up. And she said, "Oh, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if you just want sex or like what this is." I was just honest. I was like, "Look, you seem cool. I've had sex with a lot of fucking girls. I don't care. Like, if I wanted to have sex, I could just call one of the girls up on my phone right now. Like, you're cool. I'm gonna invite you up. You seem fun. If the chemistry is right and it leads to that, then awesome. But if you just want to leave, like, I'll just get you an Uber home. You can leave." And she ended up coming back. We had sex. And the feedback I got off her was you generally seemed like you weren't needing this. Like it wasn't there. Like I felt like if ever I wanted to leave, I just could. And that's super important. Now, I'd never encourage anyone to copy this line. It has to be like super calibrated and, you know, there's a safer way to go about this. But what I'm trying to teach you is to have that attitude, of like, I don't need this at all. Like, if this doesn't happen, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be able to meet other girls. It's all good. And if you're able to have that attitude, have that mindset, and then just tell her, like, look, no pressure. Whenever you want to go, I'll just grab you an Uber. It's going to feel like you fucking mean it. Then the girl's going to have way more trust in you not being needy, that she can go up to your place. And if ever she wants to leave, she can just leave. Number 2 is be good in bed. Now, this is the number 1 predictor of a girl coming home with you. Because if she thinks she's about to have the best night of her life, nothing else fucking matters, okay? She's coming over. And we call this masculine sexual authority. It's too deep to explain in 30 seconds or on this YouTube video. So if you want to find out more about this, you can join our mastermind. There's a free trial for 2 weeks down below. You can come in and check it out. But essentially what I want you to do, at least from the beginning, is start to create some sexual tension. You can just do this with your subcoms. You can step in a little bit closer, make stronger eye contact, lower the tone of your voice, have a little bit of a smirk. You can introduce a little bit of touch, again, some proximity. And eventually we want to get into some sexualized conversations and ability to show sexual authority. And this is really fucking easy to do. Even being good in bed is really easy to do. We have so much content in the mastermind. The comparison of most guys, again, is absolutely trash. Barely any of these girls are ever coming. They're not having a good time. And there's so many just tiny little things you can do that make the world of difference. Even if it's just getting a blindfold and putting it over the girl, which every guy can do, girls will give you feedback that it was just such an amazing and different experience just from doing that, let alone all the other techniques we can quickly and easily show you. So number 2 is demonstrating that you're confident in your sexuality, that it's going to be a good experience that night. And a really easy way to do that, if you don't want to dive deep into this, is just having more sexual subcoms. Number 3, being non-judgmental and the willingness to see her again. So you can just start here by showing some clear, genuine interest. This is going to remove the idea that you're just trying to have sex. So whatever it is you like about her that isn't her looks and isn't something she was just born with, then let her know. It might be her independence, it might be her adventurous spirit, it might be the way like she's very feminine. Whatever it is, you find that one thing and you let her know. It's a very clear, easy step. The next thing is be non-judgmental. So like if she actually wants to come home with you, don't judge her for that. If you are moving it towards a little bit more of a sexual conversation, once again, don't have judgment there, because any girl that feels judgment is just not going to like go home and get judged by you. And then the willingness to see her again. Some girls are worried that you might just fucking ignore her after you spent the night together. So if that's the concern she has, I'm just honest, right? I would just be like, look, if I get along with you and I like you and we have a good night, like, of course I'm going to want to see you again. Like, I would never sleep with a girl that I'm not even willing to see again. It just fucking makes no sense. The only exception I'd have here is if you're clearly just looking for a one-night stand. If this is just like you're in a country village, just a bit of fun and you just whatever, then you can be honest with a girl. You're just like, I'm just looking for fun. But for the most part, girls just want security that you're not actively looking to just ditch them. So if you're willing to see her again, I just let her know. Yeah, of course. If this is fun and I enjoy you, yeah, of course, I'll message you again. I'm not some fucking like immature loser. Now, when you go to take her home, it's towards the end of the night or end of the date, you suggest to drink back at yours or you're invited back. She isn't going to be thinking just as a blanket rule, I don't go home with guys or I'm not going home with you. She starts to think, what type of guy are you? She's going to realize you're not needy, that you're good in bed, and you're not going to judge her. And that's what this is all about. It's not about like forcing her and convincing her and pushing her. It's sitting back, shifting the frame, and letting her make that decision. The next time you hear, I don't go home with guys, you know exactly what to do. Agree with her, lower her defenses, and switch the frame. Let me know how you go with that, guys. Again, if you want to join the mastermind, links below, and we'll catch you all next week.